This last year, on March the 19th, Pope Francis published a letter that he wrote to all of us who believe in Jesus Christ and who want to live the life of love and joy that Jesus lived in his life. Pope Francis wants us to know something in particular that God our Heavenly Father wants us to know and that Jesus is calling us to. He is calling us to love. And the way that we experience love in our world today, we call it holiness. Pope Francis wants us to know that loving God, loving other people, loving yourself, this is something that really distinguishes people of true faith in God. That they know that God has made them to love themselves and to love God and to love all that God has made and what our future is going to be. In his second chapter, he directly attacks what are those things that can set people back and say, I don't think I want to be holy. I just want to be like everybody else. And he says, well, there's two big obstacles to really choosing to be holy. That's the first big obstacle, is to think, I know the truth. I'm going to establish the truth. I'm going to insist upon the truth, and I know God is going to reward me for it. Not so much. Because what really God is calling us all to do first is not to know this, that, and the other, but to love each other, to love God, to love each other, to love all that God is making. The second big obstacle is to think, oh, I can do this all by myself. Oh, not so much. Yes, loving is something that you're attracted to do, but you need God's help. You need other people's help. So that is what is present in Pope Francis's second chapter of his apostolic exhortation on joy and happiness. So in his third chapter, Pope Francis goes right to the core of the message. What is it that God our Heavenly Father wants us to know? What is it that Jesus came to teach us with his life, with meeting all of his people, with his teachings, with his example? It is his whole life that he is using to teach us what the Heavenly Father wants us to know. So what is that message? The first part of the message, I'm going to only give you 3 of the Beatitudes. The first one is, blessed are those who know they are spiritually poor. This translation, which comes from the Chicago translation of the Catholic Bible, is so wonderful because it's showing us what it means to be spiritual. The more I know of you, the more I can support you and encourage you. So when I look at somebody and I say, I don't understand that person, I cannot support that person enough, that is someone who says right off the bat, I am spiritually poor. And what Jesus is saying is, happy are those people who know they are spiritually poor. And why does he say that? He says, because all the resources of heaven and earth are there for them to learn about these other people. The kingdom of heaven is theirs. Another of the Beatitudes is the one that says, blessed are those, happy are those whose greatest desire is to do what love requires. What does God's love require of you? What does your spouse's love require of you? What does your love for yourself require of you? What sacrifices, what new self-discipline, what expansion of your consciousness or of your ability to understand your life? Blessed are those whose greatest desire is to do the works of love in their life. That is what this beatitude is about. And what does he say? God will satisfy them fully. Another of the Beatitudes is, blessed are those who work for peace. Well, how do you work for peace? You show dignity to every single person. If somebody has need and you are put out by their need, you still go out to help them. Like the person who was a good Samaritan. What Jesus is saying is, happiness and blessedness and joy, even exultation, is in this knowing that those people who work for peace really do the works of God. And that's why they're called children of God, because they look like God. They act like God. That's what God is doing, bringing peace into our lives. So there are multiple Beatitudes that I have not brought up. But what I want you to realize is that Pope Francis has brought each of these Beatitudes to our consciousness, because each one is talking about a different way of knowing joy and happiness. And in your life, you may concentrate on one. Jesus' words are few, and they are straightforward. They are practical, and they are valid for each of one of us today. Pope Francis is saying, pray with them. Think of them. Try them out. Try to embody those in your own life. Don't try to do them all at once. Do one or two. Do one. The thing is, they will benefit us. They will make us happy, and they will make us feel a genuine blessedness that God is offering us.